Hello, everybody. I'm Rebel Trader. Welcome back to Take the Initiative. We may have just finished up the Galactic Championship, but I've got an even higher level of competition for you here. The TTI League Finals. These players, after a round-robin format, ended up with the highest records. And now they will face off for all the marbles here. We've got Jarol playing Krennic, and UncleRico playing the more conventional Han2 blue. Jarol managed to win all three of his games, including one against UncleRico. So let's take a look at these lists. This is Jarol's Krennic ECL. It's pretty tight. He's running his signature Corvus, and then pretty much everything you'd expect out of a typical blue-green villain control deck. No timely interventions. Just thinks the one ECL is going to be good enough. He does have the 3 new Vaders in there, though. Wrong screen, sorry. And this is UncleRico's Han list. It's running all the goodies. No Ogdo-Bogdos in there. So, you know, that is generally a pretty good card into this matchup, so we'll see how we can do without it. But he's made it to the finals here, and I believe he managed to take a game off of Jarol initially. So I think they're just waiting on me to give them the okay, and I'm going to go and do that. All right. And it looks like it's going to be Rico with the initiative here. Bit of an awkward turn 1 here, but he does have the Jedi in hiding. I think that's another unique thing about this list. I don't think a ton of Han Blues are on Jedi in hidings these days, but some of them are. It definitely plays into the hand control game plan. Jarol is going to take a mulligan here. He did have what looked like a pretty solid hand, but no turn 1 play. I think he really wants to find one of those. And again, gets no turn 1 play. But he does have, he's got double ramp, Vader, Power of the Dark Side. Could be worse for sure. All right. And Rico starting out with that Jedi in hiding. Jarol is going to have to claim here. Ooh, Death Trooper picked up. Now that's interesting. It's not ramp, but if he goes, he can theoretically go like Death Trooper to immediately kill this Jedi in hiding, and not even allow the Force token to be gained. And it looks like Jarol's resourcing his super laser tech. So it looks, yeah, he is going to go for that Death Trooper line. Death Trooper, not a card that gets played on turn 2 just on its own these days. It's often just a Vader target. Grogu coming down for Rico. I think he's realizing Krennic buffs that Death Trooper, which means he can just eat this Grogu. Or trade with it, I guess. Jarol picks up his 3rd copy of Power of the Dark Side. Is he going to keep all 3? Yeah, he is. He keeps all 3 copies of Power of the Dark Side. Now we'll see if, I imagine, yeah, he's going to take this trade here. Deny the Force token, or just potentially the Grogu using his own ability to eat the Death Trooper. All right. Now Rico, he's got a couple options here. He could go Kiadi Mundi just without using the force. And look, yeah, he's going to take that. His other option was to Han in a Poe. But either way, it would just get eaten by that power of the dark side. So now we're going on to 5 resources. No force token for Rico. No damage taken for Jarol. You gotta like that position, Jarol. Jarol's also up a card. 5 to 4. Because that value he was able to get off the Death Trooper. So I'm liking Jarol's position here. But 5 resources is often the turn where Han Blue can turn things around with a big flip. Although with this hand, we'll see. I don't think he can't play 2 units out, can he? Yeah, he's just gonna drop this Yoda. Setting up for a potential force throw for next turn. We'll see if Jarol even allows this to be a thing. Okay, looks like he's gonna spend 5. Presumably that's a Long Pike. He's gotten the resources. Yep. So that does give Rico the chance to trigger a force throw. Probably just one of these powers. Maybe it's the vigilance. He's thinking about it. I like trading power because it prevents the Yoda from trading with the Long Pike next turn. But there is a case for vigilance also. Neither of them would kill the Lom. Okay, he is going to go for vigilance. He's betting that powers are going to be more important for dealing with specific units in this matchup. I think that is true. And either way, the Han could have eaten the Lom Pike. But it looks like Uncle Rico is just going to claim here without even deploying the Han. Eventually, maybe he's going to go for an early like Yoda attack to guarantee he gets the force. Yeah. And he gets his draw. Yep. All right, 6 resources. Jarol does have a Vader in hand, which is exactly what you want to see on 6 resources. Looks like a pass from Jarol. Now he's looking at. Okay, he's gonna Han in a Yoda, which keeps up resources for Shatterpoint. All right, Krennic is just gonna eat the Yoda. Yoda does get another card draw off, and then the Ezra comes down. We'll see what Jarol does about that. He might just pass again, or he might power here. Looks like he's just going to power. And the Han comes down, eats the second power. And Rico's going to take initiative here. Jarol's turn this time could be a bit awkward. All right, looks like Rico is going to go and drop a Yaddle, and then presumably he's going to follow that up with... Oh, he probably is going to follow it up with Force Throw first, and then possibly Han in the Poe. Alternatively, he could just drop the Poe now. Yeah, he's going to throw something at Jarol. And Jarol's got a bunch of high-cost cards in here, so... His Krennic is going to die here. Basically guaranteed. And then Jarol, let's see if he passes or if he is going to be greedy and go for this Vader. Or if he is potentially a long pike and the resources to play. Force Throw potentially on its last legs in the meta. We'll see what happens post-Worlds. Frankly, I think it'd be fine either way. And Rico is going to drop this Poe, and I think that means it's Vaden time. Boom. Although, where's it looking great for Krennic? Yeah. Although I will say, like, Rico is now going to drop this Krayt Dragon, and that's not so easy to answer in at the present moment. With Jarol, I believe, has now used all 3 of his Power of the Dark Sides. What's the plural of that? Is it Power of the Dark Sides or Powers of the Dark Side? What do you think? All right, he's gonna run the Vader into the Krayt, so it should be at 7. Which means he gets to go for his own Vader. I think he probably stacks it so it's like Vader trigger, then Krayt trigger, then the Vader or ambush trigger, Krayt trigger to grab a unit. I think you can do it that way. It's not entirely clear that Jarol did order it that way, so we'll see. He would take no matter what, he's taking the 2 on the end from playing the pike, but it's possible he could avoid taking the 7 onto the pike potentially. Looks like 7 going to base, 2 on the pike. Yeah. All right, and then a Poe coming down here. Let's see what Jarol does. Jarol's going to go for Walker. I think that's fine. Like, as long as you've got this this pike blocking things, you can take that action all you want. And then Jarol's got Devastator in hand, which can blow up this Poe. Things are looking kind of rough for Uncle Rico. All right, it's devastating time. It looks like. Yep. There's not really much that Rico can do here. Like, he can go for a mace and then eat the pike and ready it, which does force a response. But Jarol can just use the walker to eat the mace. Jarol's been playing this Krennic really good. Yeah, he has. He's absolutely a master of this archetype. He won a couple seasons ago with Kira. It should be. Should be 3 heals there. All right, so red 5 going to crash into the Devastator, which puts 2 more on the Walker. Which, ooh, and Rico top decks fell the Dragon. I think it's probably not going to matter that much. Snoke is likely going to come down here, murder the Yoda, which means Phil can only get rid of one of these big threats. Here he is. Ooh, Yoda picks up a Luke. He has enough resources to play both of them, right? Yeah. So Rico fighting tooth and nail to stay into this one. Anakin and Mace picked up. Those are both really nice ones to see. But Jarol picked up a Devastator out of hand, and neither of those units deal with that particularly well. Looks like we're going to see a Han out Mace. Actually get the damage on it. Which is also play a Cassian out of the resource row. Jarol does have Barrage, which can eat both of those. Jarol's playing it slow here and kind of a bit aggressively. Like he went in for that Devastator hit, probably to play around like a Felder Dragon, and I guess he valued getting the damage in with the Devastator more than potentially taking that hit from the mace. All right, and then we're going to see a Corvus come down. This is one of Jarol's little favorite cards to throw into these decks. Just the Restore is kind of nice a lot of the time. You never got eaten by this Luke. And it looks like, okay, the Vigilance here is big. But Rico has a shatter point to answer this Devastator, and he can even follow up with another threat with this Anakin or Cassian. And what looked like was Jarol's game to win is now like up in the air. Vigilance does definitely give him a bit more breathing room here. It looks like he's going to go Vader. Shield himself, shield the Luke. That might be enough to do it in, because both of those units are now threatening lethal. Shatterpoint can only deal with one of them. One Shatterpoint here. Can't deal with either of them. But alright, yeah, so he's going to use the Force there. Kill the Devastator. Jarol claims Cassian can go to base. But because the Force bases are only 28 HP, that does it in for game 1. So yeah, when these players played in the round robin, Jarol did manage to get it, but Rico did take a game off of him. So there's a good chance we see game 3 here. And Rico, the early game did not go well for him at all, but he managed to claw his way back in and got fairly close eventually to sneak in this one out. But the control is just a bit too powerful. So let's take a look at sideboards here. Rico's got a lot of interesting things he can bring in. Champs and Dula is possibly the biggest one. Third Crate is also a big one. Pillage is potentially big as well. Depending on what Jarol's start is, he may or may not care as much about the Pillage. But Cham and Crate definitely good things to have. On Jarol's side, he's got a lot of stuff that's in there for control. Returns and restocks for sure. Top target could come in to Disruptive Blast. Most likely in there for like Vader decks. Probably not going to see it. I imagine we just see top targets, maybe Pulse Returns. If he's worried about the discard. And they're already done side and then shuffling up for game 2. Can Jarol earn his second TTI title? Second, I believe. He's only won it once. He's made the cut several times. Rico has as well. He's a veteran of the league for sure. All right. Ezra coming in from the Han. Pike Sentinel feels a bit wrong here because it can just get eaten by the Ezra. But Jarol's got no other play. All right, he is just going to play the Pike. Now we'll see if Rico's greedy and goes for the Force Throw here. All right, he's not going to be greedy. Just going to take the guaranteed kill. Yeah, it's going to be Power of the Dark Side. Yeah, if I were Jarol, I probably would have just taken initiative there. Although there are things he could have drawn that would have made the Pike a bit better, like Death Trooper. But I probably would have just taken that guaranteed Power of the Dark Side kill. Is that Ezra attacks? attack, the Rico should have the force. It is not optional. But they took care of it. Awesome. So this time around, Uncle Rico should actually be able to trigger his Kiadimundi on 4. And it looks like Jarol doesn't have a 4 resource play here. So this one is looking a lot better for Rico. Jarol's got initiative, right? Yep, Jarol just taking initiative there. And so there's the Kiadimundi. Picks up 2 cards. That's big. Last game, Jarol's really able to run Rico out of cards early. Got some value with a Death Trooper going 2 for 1 really early on. This time, things are looking a bit different. Gonna go and deploy this Krennic. Who's immediately gonna eat 4-star Luke. I'm actually not mad about that if I'm Jarol. Like, in this board today, Krennic wasn't doing much. Being able to trade for a 4-star and a Luke, actually pretty good. And it's not Vader, but I imagine we might see ECL Gideon here. We might also see, like, No Glory on Yoda to get the card draw. Both of those are solid options. All right, 5 being spent, it looks like. And it's going to be ECL Gideon. And I imagine the Yoda's probably just going to trade into him. Can't let that Gideon get too much value. A second Yoda coming out to replace the first. Han flips over and is going to be able to sneak in a Jedi in hiding as well. All right. 6 resources. ECL already used. No Vader in sight. This is looking a lot better for Rico. What plays does Jarol have? He can go No Glory on the Yoda, get the card draw, or potentially on the Jedi in hiding, just for more damage. He can go like super laser plus pike. That's not horrible. Probably wants to wait for the Han attack before playing the pike. All right, Han does attack. And he plays the pike. Rico does have ways of just removing that with units, though. Either this Hammerhead or the Anakin. And it's going to be Anakin. Five to base. Runs up the score a little bit. All right. So because Jarol does have the super laser, he can get to reinforcement walker this turn. All right. Yep. Super laser is going to trade with Jedi in hiding. Jedi in hiding does trigger. To force discard. Here's reinforcement walker. Pitch in a Death Trooper. For 3 heals. But Rico can just go. Hey, it looks like he's just going to play a Poe straight up. He could have gone like Fell the Dragon. Or no, I don't think he could have played both of them. I think he was just too shy. All right. So Walker gonna go in, discard Vader, heal 3, keeps him out of lethal. Does have to take 6 back, and goes up to 5. Oh no, he's still got a shot to hit something off this Vader. Otherwise, Han would be lethal. And the server crashed again. All right. Hello, everyone. So, this is the Season 16 finals. And we played part 1 of it earlier, and we had some technical difficulties. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting both parts of the stream together and uploading them as one video. But this is like a week later, if not 2 weeks later. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's about 1 week later. Yeah, because I think we tried to play this on Tuesday. So this is a bit later, but I managed to reconstruct the game state from a TTS save file and the stream. Jarol's in a bit of a rough spot here, but he is up a game, so we might very well be going to game 3 here. All right, there we go. Like, does he think it's only 5? All right, so I managed to pull the Death Trooper to kill Han, which is going to keep him alive for the moment. But I think if Rico's smart, he just claims and hits with Anakin. I don't believe Jarol has the Pike Sentinel to stop that. Even if he hits with Yoda, like Jarol would have to draw, I think, exactly Super Laser Blast to fix this out. All right, yeah. So Rico just claims, and that should be it. And yeah, Jarol's gonna call it. So game 3. Let's take a look at the list again. For those of you that haven't seen them, this is Jarol's Krennic. It's running Spanish string tech cards. He's got those Corvuses in there that he likes. And then he's on just 6 copies of Vader, 3 of the old one, 3 of the new, which is awesome to see. 2 Devastators in the main. I believe we saw Palp's returns. I don't know if we saw anything else come out of the sideboard. This is Rico's Han Blue. Pretty standard build except for no Augie Bugs. Anywhere in the board, and I believe we saw Champs and Duels come in at least. So should be going into game 3 here. Looks like Jarol might be going back into the sideboard. Yeah, looks like he is. Not sure for what. All right, that's a bit of a rough hand for Jarol. Looks like he's probably going to mulligan here. Yep. Rico's hand looks pretty solid. He's got 2 different options for turn 1 play, Ezra or Yoda, and he's got Cham to follow it up. Jarol doesn't have ramp, so it looks like the Cham's not going to be punishing much. But he has a pretty good setup line of like Pershing into power. Starts us off with the Pershing. And it's going to be that Ezra. And Jarol claims keeps drawing into a bunch of big stuff. And I imagine we're just going to see power right away, right? Yep. Boom. Yoda on the crackback, though. Not bad. There's a resupply picked up by the Pershing draw. So we'll see how much Jarol plays around Cham here, because he could get punished. What I imagine Rico's gonna do is run Yoda into the base to get that force token, which gives him the option to play either Ki or Cham. All right, it looks like he's gonna run into Pershing, not the base. Same difference. Yeah, and Jarol does make what I think is a smart move and Pershings before playing anything, which means we're not going to see a Cham. And Ki is not exactly what you want to see as Jarol, but probably better than Cham. All right, yep, there's the resupply from Jarol, which means ECL Vader is in the cards next turn. Krennic's going to be deployed. Is he even going to use him for anything? He might not. All right, no, he is going to jam into the Yoda, I guess. Which that means if Yoda hits Pershing, he dies back. Because remember, the Pershing is 1 power from the Krennic. That play also lets Jarol kill this Yoda himself early, which sets up for a better Vader. I mean, not necessarily, right? But it lets you clear the board and Vader. All right, Kiadi going to run into Pershing. Krennic cannot kill either of those units if he so chooses. Gonna choose Yoda. It looks like it's trying to play around Vader, possibly. But you can't do it forever. All right, going to Han in the Anakin, which means it's probably Vaden time. Exactly, it's Vaden time. Vader gets to clear both those units. Han flip does happen. And there's no immediate out for the Han on Jarol's side. Second key ID could spell trouble. But we'll see if Rico even goes for that. He's got lots of options here. He's got Poe, he's got Mace, he's got Cham. Cham would set up the Crate Dragon for next turn. Alright, Jarol's just gonna ram that Han. And we are going to see a Han in key. And he does pick up another play to go along with that. 5, it looks like a long pike. Exactly. Okay, so you get Han in the Cham as well. I forgot you could use Han multiple times. It's kind of crazy. This is a nice setup. If I'm Jarol, I might actually just claim and go for the Snoke next turn. Right away, I guess. Okay, looks like he's gonna be a bit greedy, and go for the Inferno 4, which may end up, he may end up getting rewarded for that. Yeah, he is. All right, Han's gonna trade with the Vader, which means Jarol gets to claim, drop a Snoke, and clear both of these units. Rigo does have a way to both remove the Snoke and put out another threat this turn, which is a bit challenging. But Jarol's got responses of his own in tow. Yep, there we go. Snoke him if you got him. All right, we're going to see Chirrut come down. Long Pike's going to headbutt him, which does actually just kill him because of the Snoke. That might have been a misplay by Rico not going for the Fel Dragon first. Before he gets a little bit of chip damage in. Power the dark side picked up for Jarol. That's massive. I'm really liking Jarol's position right now. He's got Barrage to deal with multiple smaller threats, and Power and No Glory to deal with bigger ones. Also got a Vader and a Pulse Return. Things are looking up. All right, Yaddle. Most likely it's going to be gobbled up by something or other. Could be the Slom Pike, could be the Vader out of hand. It's going to be the Long Pike. All right, Luke clears the Lom. Is that? Oh, that's Vader. All right, greedy from Jarol. Hoping he can pull a Death Trooper here. Oh, and of course he's a good enough Krennic player. He's got the Death Trooper on lock. Top 5 cards. Don't even need the second 5. And Rico's just going to go back to the initiative as Jarol drops another unit here. This Royal Guard attaché. Let's pull up Death Trooper here. All right, another Anakin comes down. That is going to snipe the Vader. Jarol's got a number of ways of getting it out of here, though. Just going to use that power of the dark side. Here's an itinerant warrior who is, it looks like might be a bit stronger, but he's got enough resources for Palp's return, right? He does. And that's going to be the return of not Palpatine, but Snoke, most likely. To just immediately kill this hapless itinerant warrior. Let's pull up the Palp's return. It's going to be a lot of damage incoming. Jarol's just starting to finish this one off. Riga has no force token for that chatter point. So he can't get rid of the Snoke immediately. You can drop like a Crate Dragon, but it's not going to do much. 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 on board. That is actually lethal. 15 and 13 is 28. So he might be forced to Shatterpoint here. Or I guess he has the third Anakin. So we can snipe something. Can we go snipe the Death Trooper? Theoretically, what he could do is go like Anakin on Snoke and then Shatterpoint the Snoke. Which is kind of ugly, but maybe it gets it done. All right, Snoke in for 6. And what's it going to be? Rico here. Going to be Shatterpoint, the Royal Guard. Interesting. Takes 2 from the Inferno 4. And Reinforcement Walker. Picks up another Royal Guard. And this one is looking a lot closer to game 1 than game 2. And Rico's going to call it. Congratulations, Jarol, for taking down his second TTI League win. Season 16 is in the books, folks. Season 17 Top Cut will be starting soon. Both these players are actually going to be back. Jarol's on something different, but Rico's on the same Han Blue. So maybe he'll end up in this final seat again. We'll see. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and always take the initiative.